Would you believe that it only costs around $30 to make a pair of Nike trainers that sell for over 100? It sounds unbelievable, doesn't it? But let's break it down, shall we? First off, we have the materials. A typical pair of Nike trainers incorporates a variety of materials, from the rubber in the soles to the synthetic fabrics in the upper parts of the shoe. You might be surprised to learn that the total cost of these materials is usually less than $15 per pair. That's right, the raw stuff that makes up your favorite kicks costs less than a meal at a decent restaurant. Next, we have labor. This is where the people who actually assemble the shoes come into play. Despite the intricate craftsmanship and attention to detail that goes into each pair of trainers, the labor cost might not be as high as you think. In countries where Nike shoes are typically manufactured, like Vietnam and China, labor costs can be quite low. The average labor cost per pair? Just around $5. Then, we have the manufacturing overhead. This includes everything from the cost of operating the factories where the shoes are made, to the machinery used, to the cost of quality control measures. This overhead typically adds another $10 to the cost of each pair. So, there you have it. The materials, labor, and manufacturing overhead add up to around $30. That's less than a third of the retail price for a typical pair of Nike trainers, but you're probably wondering, what about the rest of the money? Where does the remaining $70+ go when you fork over your hard-earned cash for a pair of these coveted kicks? Well, that's a story for another scene. We are just getting started. Stay tuned to find out where the rest of your money goes when you buy those coveted Nikes. Ever wonder why a swoosh on the side of a shoe can up the price tag by so much? Well, branding isn't cheap. Nike's signature swoosh isn't just a design, it represents a global brand that invests heavily in marketing and advertising. This means celebrity endorsements, high-profile sports team sponsorships, and flashy ad campaigns. All these efforts to maintain Nike's status as a trendsetter in the world of sportswear don't come without a hefty price tag. To put it in perspective, consider the cost of branding in relation to other items. The cost of a Nike swoosh is akin to the value of a designer logo on a luxury handbag or a high-end watch. It's not just about the physical product, but the brand identity it carries. This cost is then factored into the retail price of Nike trainers, contributing to their premium pricing. So the swoosh isn't just a design, it's a pricey signature. Think Nike's making all the profit from those $100 trainers? Think again. Let's dive into the murky waters of the retail markup. This is the price increase from what the store bought the shoes for, to what they sell them to you for. In the world of sneakers, this markup can be quite substantial. Imagine this. A typical pair of Nike trainers cost around $50 to manufacture and ship all the way to your local shoe store. But when you saunter in to pick up those fresh kicks, you're plunking down a crisp $100 bill. That's 100% markup, double the initial cost. Your local shoe store is making as much profit as Nike does on each pair of trainers. Now, this might seem outrageous, but it's not uncommon in the retail world. In fact, it's pretty standard. Clothing and accessories typically have markups anywhere from 100 to 300%. High-end designer brands, they can go up to a staggering 500%. And it's not just the world of fashion. The electronics industry is another prime example. Those shiny new smartphones, they have a markup of around 200%. Even your everyday grocery items aren't immune to the markup phenomenon, so why such a high markup? Well, it's not all pure profit. Retailers have to cover their overhead costs, rent, utilities, salaries, and so on. Plus, they need to account for items that may not sell at full price and end up on the discount rack. But even after considering all these costs, retailers still make a tidy profit. And that's just how the retail industry works. They buy low, sell high, and pocket the difference. So next time you're eyeing those sleek Nikes, remember you're not just padding Nike's pockets. Your local shoe store is also getting a nice slice of the pie. Yes, your local shoe store is cashing in on your love for Nikes. So, how much does Nike really make on each pair of trainers? Let's break it down. After accounting for the cost of materials, labor, branding, and retail markup, the final profit number may not be as astronomical as you might think. It's a common misconception that there's a massive chunk of profit to be made from every pair of trainers sold. Here's the thing. The cost of raw materials and manufacturing a pair of Nike trainers is typically around $20. Then there's the cost of getting the shoe to market, which includes shipping, tariffs, and the retail markup, which can take the price up to about $60. On top of that, there's the cost of branding. Nike spends a considerable amount of money on advertising, athlete endorsements, and other branding efforts, which can add another $20 to the cost of each pair of trainers. So, if a pair of trainers sells for $100, Nike's profit per pair after all these costs is around $20. That's a profit margin of about 20%. Now, how does this compare to other brands or items? Well, other major athletic shoe brands like Adidas and Under Armour have similar profit margins. Luxury brands, however, often have higher profit margins, sometimes as high as 50% or more. But let's put it in another perspective. If you were to compare this to the electronics industry, for instance, Apple's profit margin on an iPhone is around 38%, almost double that of Nike's on a pair of trainers. So, while $20 of profit on a $100 pair of trainers might seem like a lot, when you consider the costs involved and compare it to other industries, it's not as high as you might think. Those numbers might surprise you. Nike isn't quite rolling in the dough as much as you thought. You, the sneakerhead, have a bigger role in this economy than you might think. Sneakerheads, those of you who are passionate about collecting, trading, and admiring sneakers, you're not just consumers, you're influencers, trendsetters, and economic drivers. Your enthusiasm for the freshest kicks, the rarest designs, and the most exclusive releases shapes the market in ways you might not have considered. Let's look at Nike, for example. Every time you line up for a new release, share a post about an upcoming drop, or trade a pair of limited edition Nikes, you're adding value to the brand. You're creating demand, and as we know, demand drives prices up. But that's not where your influence ends. The resale market, a booming secondary economy powered by sneakerheads, is instrumental in determining the perceived value of these shoes. Consider the fact that a pair of Nike Air Jordan 1 Retro High Dior, originally sold for $2,000, can fetch upwards of $20,000 in the resale market. That's a tenfold increase in value, all thanks to the hype and demand generated by you, the sneakerheads. And it's not just about the money. Your passion for sneakers also shapes the cultural relevance of brands like Nike. Every Instagram post, every YouTube review, every discussion on a sneaker forum contributes to the cultural capital of these brands. Of course, this power comes with responsibility. Counterfeit sneakers, unethical reselling practices, and the environmental impact of sneaker production are issues that need addressing. As key players in this economy, you have the power to drive change in these areas as well. So, next time you buy a pair of Nikes, remember, you're not just buying a shoe, you're playing a part in a global economy. You're shaping trends, influencing prices, and impacting cultures. And that, my fellow sneakerheads, is some serious soul power. So there you have it, the real cost of your Nike kicks. We've journeyed from the production line to the storefront, uncovering the intricate process and the costs associated with each step. It all begins with the often overlooked manufacturing cost, where the magic happens and the shoes take form. The branding, a significant part of the cost, is what sets Nike apart and makes your kicks instantly recognizable. The retail markup, while seemingly high, covers the expenses of running a store and gets your favorite sneakers within your reach. And let's not forget Nike's profit, the ultimate goal of this whole process. Though substantial, it fuels innovation and keeps the sneaker market fresh and exciting. Lastly, we explored the sneakerhead economy, a phenomenon that influences the value of your shoes beyond their retail price. Now that you know the cost breakdown of your favorite Nikes, we hope you'll think twice before complaining about the price tag. And if you liked this video, don't forget to hit that like button, subscribe to our channel, and leave a comment down below. We'd love to hear your thoughts.